Hey, what's up? Ratuptek here with another video. So let's talk about the best affordable phones under $250 in 2022. Well, flagship phones are getting more expensive, and with the current economic conditions, they might become exclusive. Though budget phones are getting better with more features, more software updates and upgrades. Today, you can buy a $250 phone that can handle anything you throw at it. So here are the best cheap phones to buy under $250 in 2022. And before we get started, these are the key features that we considered on this list. One is, it's pretty obvious that the minimum RAM for this category is 4 gigs of RAM, though some of the phones go as high as 8 gigs of RAM. The price not higher than $250. The minimum storage capacity is 128 GB. Minimum battery size to fit in this list is 4500 mAh, as that is enough for full day use. It's also important to acknowledge that these phones have at least 2 years of Android upgrades plus 5 years of security updates. All phones in this category have USB Type-C port, and things like minimum video capabilities are 1080 at 30 FPS for both selfie camera and rear camera. With that out of the way, here are the 6 best phones to buy under $250 in 2022. First on the list is the Xiaomi Poco M4 Pro. If you don't need 5G and prefer a great OLED display over 5G, then the Poco M4 Pro 4G will exchange one for the other when compared to the M4 Pro 5G, which we have reviewed in the past. Link in the description. The Dimensity 810 chipset is replaced in the 4G version by Helio G96, another MediaTek design that is just slightly less powerful and lacks next generation networking. On the other hand, it receives 6.43-inch OLED display, which is somewhat smaller than the 6.6-inch OLED panel in 5G, maintains the 90Hz refresh rates, and offers significantly higher brightness on top of the OLED other inheritance benefits. Light changes can also be seen in the camera area, where the primary unit now includes a 64-megapixel sensor instead of a 50-megapixel sensor found in the 5G edition, and a 2-megapixel macro camera has cropped up where there previously was none, the true definition of a mid-range phone. The ultra-wide camera on the rear and selfie camera remain unaltered. The Poco M4 retains the 5000 mAh battery capacity as well as the 33-watt fast charging capabilities that has been a standard in the Xiaomi series. Other standard features include infrared emitter, a headphone port, and a dedicated micro SD. Well, the Poco M4 Pro has a few shortcomings, and they are neither major nor unusual in the throng with which it competes. More advanced video recording will be more expensive in 2022, and night mode capable ultra-wide cameras in Xiaomi portfolio aren't a certainty at the lower end of the pricing spectrum. Some updated MIUI 13 features are considered outdated in the Poco release, not to mention that we should be seeing Android 12 based MIUI across the board by now, which isn't the case here. The issue of design and appearance is subjective, and just because you don't like the camera island doesn't imply you should have to. The rest of the Poco M4 Pro is primarily a list of accomplishments. We enjoy both of the significant differences between the 4G and 5G versions. The OLED display is somewhat smaller but far superior. Primary camera is a noticeable upgrade, the ultra-wide is comparable, and the selfies are also improved. Other things haven't changed, but they are for the better. The IP53 certification has been on the increasing number of Xiaomi phones, and while it is not genuine waterproofing, it is better than nothing. The battery life is excellent, charging is really rapid for the market position, and no little convenience feature is lacking in the hardware. Number 2 on the list is Realme 9 4G. Realme has one main strategy: bombarding the budget segment with tons of phones. Sure, it provides consumer with a variety of alternatives to pick from, but it does so at the expense of increased confusion. That is the case with the Realme 9 series, which has already seen 6 phones all at competitive prices in only a few months, including the recently announced Realme 9, a 4G only counterpart of the 5G sibling. Without the 5G cost, Realme is able to improve numerous other features on the phone, including display quality and charging speed. However, these enhancements may not be enough to compete with the competing phones like Xiaomi, Samsung, and even Realme itself. At a glance, the Realme 9 4G has 128 gigs of storage, a Snapdragon 680 with Adreno 610 GPU, 6 gigs or 8 gigs of RAM, Android 12 with the Realme UI 3.0, battery is 5000 mAh with 33-watt DAT charger included in the box, a USB Type-C port, 3.5mm audio jack. The display is 6.4 OLED at 90Hz, front camera is 16 megapixel, rear camera is 108 megapixel main lens, 8 megapixel ultra wide and 2 megapixel macro camera. So here are my thoughts. Compared to its 5G sibling, the Realme 9 4G adds a nice OLED panel, an in-display fingerprint reader, Android 12 and a faster 33-watt fast charging. These are some solid reasons to get the 4G model, especially considering it costs $7 less. And 5G connectivity is still far away. However, all the other aspects of the phone are holding it back. The lack of stereo speaker paired already puts it behind the competition, and Realme's decision to use a middling processor when its own 9 Pro uses a beefier chip for the same price doesn't seem right. While providing consumers with a plethora of alternatives make logic, Realme must draw the line at some place. In the current form, the business has numerous phones in the sub 250 market, the Realme 9 4G being the most confusing of them all. It's not designed for entertainment, it lacks stereo speakers or gaming due to the CPU, and its low light camera performance is among the worst of any phone at this budget. So, for whom is this phone intended? If you want a non-nonsense phone with cutting-edge software that can handle your basic social networking and business application, then the Realme 9 4G is a no-brainer. Third on the list is the Xiaomi Redmi Note 11. Xiaomi's current Redmi Note lineup naming is a shamble, and that's just being polite. As things stand, don't mistake the model you are looking at with the last year's Redmi Note 11 for China or the Redmi Note 11 4G, even though the phones we are reviewing today is also 4G only. At the time of writing this review, a Xiaomi Redmi Note 11 will set you back €200 in Europe, and an entry 4GB RAM 64GB storage unit is currently going for $177 on Amazon, which is a bit cheaper. Not a bad price, but not necessarily the best deal either in today's highly competitive budget market. So here are my thoughts. On paper, the Redmi Note 11 looks like a decent budget device that even manages to offer a few small upgrades over its predecessors without breaking the bank. Notably, its excellent AMOLED display as well as its improved battery efficiency. The latter is particularly impressive side of the Redmi Note 11. While it deserves credit for delivering in both of these aspects, the Redmi Note 11 is unfortunately not a well-balanced device. The Snapdragon 680 lacks power, notably in the GPU category. The superb MIUI 13 mainly compensates for these out of the box and works perfectly great. However, some performance-related features like a split screen appears to be missing. And with that brings us to number 4. And if you're enjoying my videos, kindly subscribe to support the channel. Number 4 is the Nokia G21. The Nokia G21 launched in early 2020, a digit behind the time, seeking to give an inexpensive all-around package with an emphasis on battery life, taking on Xiaomi and Realme at their own game. So, how competitive is the $200 Nokia G21? The Nokia G21 isn't a dud. It gets a lot of things well. Battery life is one of its strongest points, and Android One implies a simple UI and quick upgrades. Selfies are decent, and there's a slew of extras like a card slots and an FM radio. We also see the conservative appearance. We are not crazy with the primary camera, and the lack of ultra-wide lens irritates us even more. The basic video recording capabilities are also inefficient. The processor is unsuitable for gaming, and other little flaws like the lowish maximum brighten delayed charging and easy scratched camera bump add up in the end. Nokia's budget-conscious G21 is facing some stiff competition from the classic value-focused brands like Realme and Xiaomi Redmi series, but also from Samsung and Motorola if you are into brands with heritage. And that brings us to number 5, which is the Vivo IQOO Z6. High-performance smartphones on a budget are always enticing. When you have a limited budget, however, not everything you desire is possible. There must always be some concessions. However, the IQOO Z6, starting at $170, the Z6 5G not only claims to give an ultra gaming performance, but also has a long battery life and a competent camera. We've been putting it through its paces for the past 2 weeks to see if it excels in all areas, and here are what we discovered. The IQOO Z6 5G is an excellent phone that tries to tick all the right boxes. A phone that supports 5G technology, runs on Android 12 and provides decent performance, battery life and camera at an affordable price is something to consider, especially if you enjoy gaming. The IQOO Z6 5G is an excellent choice. And finally bringing us to number 6, the Samsung Galaxy A13. A13. The Galaxy A13 is the latest entry-level phone to join the Galaxy A series. We got the 4G version, which is already available in India and Europe for evaluation. There is also a Galaxy A13 5G, which has a 9Hz screen and a MediaTek Dimensity 700 processor, but is otherwise quite comparable to our 4G model. Also, it should be noted that the Galaxy A13 is not the lowest priced member of the Galaxy A family, since it is still priced more than the Galaxy A03. Samsung has been beefing up its offering recently. Unfortunately, this results in a vast number of gadgets that are quite identical. Galaxy A13 is essentially identical to that of A13 5G. I bet it does include a Gorilla Glass 5 display protection, except for the loss of the OIS on the main camera and the unfortunate 1080 video recording constraint imposed by the 8nm Exynos 850 chipset. The camera system on the A13 is essentially identical to that on the A23. All three phones feature 5000 mAh batteries. However, the A13 pair can only charge at 15 watts, whilst the A23 charge up to 25 watts. As previously stated, the differences in various portions of Samsung's lineups are minor. At the time of writing, the Samsung Galaxy A13 is listed for $200. When creating a phone, especially on a tight budget, there's a lot that may go wrong. The issue is that most of these gadgets appear to be extremely comparable on paper. You have to spend some time to unearth any faults hiding beneath the surface, and regrettably, the Galaxy A13 had a few major ones. While the A13 is physically sound, it was clearly built cheaply with soft plastic that are prone to damage. In person, it also seems and feels fairly cheap. The same is true for the display. While its full HD resolution produces a crisp image, its pixel reaction time is slow, resulting in smearing and ghosting. It also has poor lighting consistency, and since Samsung did not include a proper proximity reader or an ambient light sensor, you have to do a lot of manual adjustment. It's a real shame since the A13 still delivers in other key aspects. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, never to miss out. Thanks for watching. Peace.